and welcome back to Tech Total Access. I'm your host, Alexis Craighead. This week, we're embracing the love of sports, of course, the only Valentine you really need. Spring sports are getting underway, and Virginia Tech Baseball held their 8th annual baseball night on Saturday. Noel Lane was there and got to talk to MLB legend Charlie Manuel, Coach Mason, and the team.
They got a chance to get right back in and have big seasons and have just like they did in '82 or whatever, whenever I came here to scout. They had a good team then. This team here, they can achieve that.
In my opinion, we need to get to a regional. You know, that should be a realistic goal every year. Because if you're coming out of our conference, and here's my thought on that, we want to get to Omaha, right? But in order to get to Omaha, we got to get to a regional. And I'm going to backtrack a little bit on that, but if we get to a regional, any team that comes out of the ACC is either going to be a 1 or a 2 seed in a regional. So now you put yourself in position to make that run in Omaha. That's our goal. So to backtrack a little bit, really our first goal has to be to make the ACC tournament. If we do not make the ACC tournament, we will not get that large bid, in my opinion. There's 10 teams now going there, a 14-team conference. 11th place isn't going to cut it. So we got to get into that ACC tournament, take care of business, and then once we pick our heads up, see where we're at regional-wise, send any ACC team. If you look back, any ACC team at any regional is tested, battle tested, and talented enough to come out of regional into a super regional, as Maryland showed last year. It doesn't matter if you're 1 or 9, we were a 6 seed in the ACC tournament 2 years ago, and we're hosting. So our focus, and first and foremost, will be get into the ACC tournament.
I think we just gotta kind of keep I feel like late in the games on those Friday nights. We kind of just want to use the word back off, but I think we just gotta kind of keep our foot in the throttle and kind of finish games. I think that was kind of a big issue. We kind of late in the games, we kind of made some mistakes, made some errors here and there. But that was very frustrating because it was one of our games.
When I started as a true freshman, I was 145 pounds, so I was very little. So just got a little bit stronger, more comfortable, gotten to know the system a lot better. Just being able to be with the same kind of people, and the coaches, honestly, it's just year after year, it's continuity. It's the easiest thing to play with when you have continuity.
Payne, he's had a great fall, great spring. Definitely bring a lot of power to the lineup. Did really good at third, and I would say the last few starts, going from last season being like Saturday or Sunday, can have it every year. He's looking really good. It's kind of nice to have Friday. I think hopefully Saturday got really good.
After last year, our team last year was very cliquey. Classes stayed with their own classes. We didn't really hang out as a team off the field. We took it upon ourselves as leaders that we wanted to be involved with the team more, and I think it's really paid off. It's starting to feel like how it was the year we went to a regional. That team always did everything together. All the guys loved each other, so it's starting to feel like that.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Every budget, so don't accept defeat.
Now you can get covered and still
buy me treats.
You take care of your pets. Now it's their turn to take care of you. Visit getcoveredamerica.org to learn about your health insurance options.
Now it's time for some R&R. Ricky and Russell, hit me with it.
Spring sports starting up, Russell, now for Virginia Tech. What are your expectations for the Tech baseball team?
Well, hopefully they can improve on last season when they were 21, 31, and 1. I've heard that they've got a lot better team chemistry and they're not as kind of discombobulated in the locker room. They've also added some assistant coaches, so I think the team has a bright future.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're just in a really good conference. The ACC has got 3 elite teams at the top there, in Duke, Virginia, Miami, and Florida State, all of which had 20 plus wins in the ACC last year. So they're going to have to pitch better as well. They had a team ERA over 5. That's not going to get it done.
Exactly. They're going to have to step up their game. They're kicking off this weekend with a 3-game tournament at Mercer, so that should be their first chance to really start things right.
Yeah, and it's important to get off on a good start. You don't want to have a letdown against a kind of a mid-major team at the beginning of the season. It's important to get off on that roll early. Now we move into softball, which had a fantastic opening set in Conway, South Carolina. 5 wins, 0 losses. What are you expecting from this team for the season?
I'm expecting big things. I mean, they were really good last year as one of Tech's stronger teams. And like you said, they have 5 straight wins. 3 of them were shutouts. So I think they have a really powerful team.
How about Maggie Tyler? She had 2 wins on the weekend and a save. She was just phenomenal for them this weekend. And if they can get that continued production out of her as the second pitcher behind Kelly Hines, I think they're going to be great. Another thing, too, I noticed is that the power surge they had this weekend, they've got 4 players with more than 2 home runs already. That's incredible for 5 games. So if they can keep up this kind of scoring pace, I think they're going to be good and set to go.
Absolutely. They're loaded with talent, like you said. They're led by some experienced players like Lauren Gasco, Kylie McGoldrick, and Kelsey Merica. So I'm looking forward to the tournament this weekend, which includes a matchup against JMU. Definitely a game we should win.
Yeah, and even Michaela Aiken, who's a freshman pitcher, got the shutout in the final game. So it's good to have that young talent that's also contributing to the pitching staff. And of course, we can't forget about lacrosse, who's coming in this season looking to rebound off of their poor performance last year. What are you expecting from them?
Well, hopefully they can get their first ACC win. They haven't got one in over 2 years, so we'll see.
Again, the ACC in lacrosse is pretty good. The ACC is pretty loaded, just like it seems like in every major sport, so we'll see what happens with them. And I think the biggest part for Tech lately has been they got their finally second ACC win against Georgia Tech on a Malik Mueller buzzer beater. What are you seeing from this team as an improvement from last year?
I've seen a lot of things. This was an exciting game. We were trailing by 10 points actually with 4 minutes to go, and I was like, oh, this is another game we're going to give up down the stretch. But we really came together as a team and rallied from that.
Yeah, and I think that the biggest thing too is that this team doesn't quit. We saw it against Syracuse early in the year. They were down by 20 plus in the second half, and they came back and lost by 3. And then for this game, like you said, down 10. They're just playing with a little bit more drive than they had with Coach James Johnson last year. This year, Buzz has got them playing at a completely different level of pace. And I think one important thing they've had so far, at least recently, has been Malik Mueller's play at the 4. He's been playing at forward, playing against guys that are way bigger than him, and he's been able to compete.
Exactly. He plays well defensively, and obviously he shoots well. He had that game winner for us. One player that I would really like to see get more minutes is Jalen Hudson. He's a big, strong, physical guard. He had a strong layup and some clutch free throws down the stretch that really helped us in that comeback, and he even got the assist on that game winner to Malik Mueller. So I'd like to see him get more playing time going forward.
Yeah, Jalen's definitely great off the dribble, and I think my personal favorite is Christian Byer, former walk-on, guy who didn't get a lot of minutes in his career, and he's become a staple for Buzz Williams in the front court, whether it be starting or coming off the bench. He's been excellent for them so far, playing at the 5, which he's not really suited to play. But when you lack that talent up front, you kind of have to play where you can, and I think he's filled in very well.
Exactly. We really don't have any strong size or big men, so it's players like Byer and Shane Henry who really have to step up for us in the front court.
Yeah, and I think looking at the schedule, it looks like Tech's best chance to get another win in the ACC is against Boston College later in the year. It's the second to last game. It's at home. Boston College has struggled this year. So Virginia Tech could possibly get more than 3, but I'm thinking they'll get one more ACC win for this season. Now for Tech's next matchup, they've got Clemson, which is on the road. Tech hasn't been on the road in a few games. What are you expecting for that?
Well, hopefully we can keep it competitive and maybe come out with a win. Clemson is 6-6 in the ACC, and Tech is 2-9, so there's obviously some record disparity there. Clemson has a balanced scoring attack, so I really think we need to play strong team defense to get a win here.
So guys, what are your final predictions for the Clemson game?
Well, I've got Virginia Tech losing this one. Clemson's a much better team than what they've played so far and had success against. I've got Clemson 75, Virginia Tech 57.
You know what, Ricky? I think Virginia Tech is going to win this game, 63-55.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Danse, balance la cadence, ondule bien tes hanches au bal du dimanche. Danse, que la fête commence, dans ma belle robe blanche, je suis ton chou.
You didn't give up on sex. Don't give up on birth control either. There are more methods than you think. Find yours at bedside.
It was a big weekend for the 9th-ranked Virginia Tech wrestling team, so we're going to roll it over to Rachel Franks, who is at the Moss Center for the Arts.
The wrestling team came up with 2 big wins this weekend. They beat number 13 Pittsburgh 26-10 and NC State 29-9. The Hokies looked dominant in both of the weekend meets. In the match against Pitt, Tech only lost 2 bouts, and both of those losses were to higher-ranked opponents. Tech also came up with 2 big upsets against Pitt. At 174, number 12, Zach Epperly beat the Panthers' number 6, Tyler Whips, 3-2. And at 197, the Hokies' Jared Hott beat number 20, Nick Gronkowski, 3-2. Both upsets came when the Tech wrestlers were able to get takedowns early in their bouts, then hold off their opponents for a 1-point victory. Epperly said the win over number 6 was important for his confidence going into the last stretch of the season.
It's huge. I mean, that's what I needed. It's a big motivational boost. And I mean, coming off that loss to Virginia, I haven't had that good of a January either. So I needed that win. And it was something just to build off of. So I'm looking forward to the wrestling next couple matches.
Against NC State, the Hokies only lost 2 bouts. One of them was at heavyweight, where the Wolfpack have defending national champion number 1, Nick Gronkowski. Tech's number 8, Ty Waltz, got pinned by Gronkowski while fighting to get a takedown. The big upset of the night was at 165, where the Hokies' Trad Struby recorded a 14-4 major decision over the Wolfpack's number 19, Max Roskopf. Tech's only fall of the weekend came at 141, from number 3, Devin Carter, who was able to pin State's number 19, Sam Stempo, at the 420 mark. Carter was also able to record a 21-6 technical fall against Pitt's Ben Ross. The redshirt junior returned to action this weekend after missing the Virginia match with a knee injury. He says his surgery last week went fine and he's feeling great.
Yeah, it was kind of a game time decision. We didn't know. Kind of just depended on where we were team wise, what the team score was. But once we got on a roll, I was kind of pumped up and I just wanted to go out there and I felt good. So just kind of wanted to spread the point range. I felt fine. I mean, I didn't even notice it until after, and then they threw ice on it and it felt great. So
overall, head coach Kevin Dresser was pleased with the team's performance.
It was good effort. It's the best effort I think we've had as a team in 2015. So it was good effort. There's always a few things here and there that we can always work on to get better. We've had a hard time with Pitt. It seems like the last couple of years we've wrestled them twice up there and let it slip away, let it slip through our fingers. And I told them tonight we needed to go take this, and the ACC, UVA and Pitt seem to be the two tougher teams right now. So it was nice to get that win. I think we won 8, they won 2. We won the close matches, and that's important.
The men's basketball team hosted Florida State one Saturday. Maria Dobbs has more in the game.
I'm here at Castle where Virginia Tech just lost to Florida State with the score of 73-65. In the first half of the game, Virginia Tech tries to keep up with Florida State, but fell during the second half. The Hokies used an 8-0 run to try to catch up to Florida State with a dunk from Shane Henry. Both teams traded three-pointers, but Florida State remained in the lead. Ahmed Hill scored a career high of 19 points. Coach Buzz Williams said he is the hardest playing kid on the team.
I think he's the hardest playing kid on our team. That's why he plays more minutes than anybody else. I don't think he's the most talented player, but I think he plays really hard. I think he's completely bought into what we do, what we're about. He works on his game to the point that he probably needs to stop. He spends a lot of time in the gym alone, in the mornings, late at nights. He is an extremely driven individual.
Adam Smith shot 19 points as well for the Hokies.
I feel like our game plan on defense was like executed to a T. We wanted to get the ball out of X's hands, Xavier's hands, as much as we could. And I mean, we did that. Other guys just made plays.
This loss leaves Tech at 9-14 overall and 1-9 in the ACC. The Hokies will be back Monday night to take on Georgia Tech, and I'm Maria Dobbs.
As Ricky and Russell mentioned, the men's team also got their second ACC win of the season on Monday when they beat Georgia Tech. Rachel and I were on the scene.
The Hokies handed the Yellow Jackets the 65-63 loss on Monday. Virginia Tech started out the game strong, taking a 12-point lead 5 minutes in. However, Georgia Tech was able to bounce back and went into halftime up 32-26. In the second half, the Yellow Jackets were able to hold on to their lead until the last minute of the game, when Malik Mueller hit a three-pointer with 15 seconds left, to put the Hokies up by 1. Adam Smith then hit a free throw to give VT the 2-point lead. Georgia Tech had the ball and 1 second left, but were not able to convert. Mueller led the Hokies with 17 points, while Smith added 15. After the game, Smith said the win was nice, but they needed to keep working.
I mean, it feels good, but it's not like overjoyous for some reason. You know, I don't know. We keep getting like the same test over and over. I guess out of our last 6 games were one-possession games, and we pulled this one out like we're supposed to do all the other ones. So it's just like, I mean, what's next?
Head coach Buzz Williams was happy for his players.
Yeah, good, happy for our guys. I think that's the 6th one-possession game in conference play. So over 50% of the time we've been in the exact same situation, not necessarily all of them being up double figures like you mentioned, but I'm happy for our kids for sure.
He also got into why he sweats so much during the games.
I care too much. That's the real answer. And I wish that I was at a point in my life that I could sit on the bench and just kind of watch and be calm. And I don't mean this at all in an arrogant way, nor do I mean it in a disrespectful way to the coaches, who that is their personality. I care a lot, and the way that I show how I care is through the passion that I work with. And if you come to my house, I'm just as passionate in how I raise my children. And if you come to my office and shadow me, I'm just as passionate in how I talk to our staff. And that's who I am, and that does not mean that it's right, and that does not mean that it's wrong. But there is a little bit of edge to me that if the mentions are about how much I sweat, then the little bitty country town where I'm from, you sweat because you work. And if there's anything in my character as a dad or as a husband or as a head coach or as an assistant coach or as a person, what I'd like to be known as, number one, he works.
What do you think it would be like to teach? Chances are, you have no idea. Teachers today are breaking down obstacles, finding innovative ways to instill old lessons, proving that greatness can be found in everyday places, and that you don't need to be famous to be unforgettable. That's what it's like to teach.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
Get caught buzzed driving, and you could do some hard time.
Craig, knock it off.
Sorry, Mom. It could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. And that could set you back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk.
The women's basketball team hosted number 13 North Carolina on Sunday. David Jones has the inside scoop on the game.
The Tar Heels were too much for the Hokies as Tech lost the game 74-52. The Hokies kept it close in the first half and only trailed by 3 at halftime. But UNC came out of the break strong and took control of the game. Tech couldn't keep up and the Tar Heels came away with a 22-point victory. The Hokies moved to 10-14 on the season and 1-10 in the ACC. The most telling stat of the night was Tech's 27 turnovers. Sophomore point guard Vanessa Panousis said it was the Hokies' mistakes and not the Tar Heels' defense that led to Tech giving up the ball.
It wasn't really much like a lot of pressure that they had, but they would kind of stun at you, and we just didn't really use pass fakes, and we weren't really coming to the ball.
Head coach Dennis Wolf says the offensive side of the ball is the team's biggest weakness.
Misses and turnovers at bad times that lead to run-out baskets. So we got to figure out a way to play better offense with our remaining games that we have.
The Hokies will return to action on Thursday when they travel to Pittsburgh.
That's all we have for you on this love-filled Valentine's edition of Tech Total Access. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Don't forget to tune in next week for more hard-hitting sports action. And as always,
Go Hokies!